Do you feel like an addict whenever you're trying to diet and lose weight, and you just keep going back to those cravings, those bad foods that you know are making you pack on the pounds? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to share with you how to stop those cravings and start losing weight right now. In case you don't know me, my name is Jason Chaney, and I help people transition to a plant-based diet to start losing weight. But most importantly, I help them start identifying their self-image when it comes to their eating lifestyle so they can actually release the weight and never have to worry about gaining weight again. And if you're not familiar with my story, I went from being over 550 plus pounds. I was literally so big I couldn't even tie my shoes for about 2 years. My wife was having to help me. And then I knew I had to change my life. I knew I wanted to be that provider and protector that she fell in love with. And so I knew I had to start making a change in my life. And until I started making that change, I didn't get any better in life. And so that's why I do these videos to help you out. And so this is a really good one, and especially this goes hands in hand with Mindset Monday, Munchie Mindset. And the thing about this is, what we have to start looking at is stop looking at food from what we think food is, because we've been conditioned and programmed to think food a very specific way since we were a child. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, watch a child. Watch what they're being forced to eat. A child, as a baby, as a toddler, they don't have a say-so. They don't have their free will yet to decide on what they eat. But the thing that we're not taught in school is these things that we've been conditioned to do will follow us for the rest of our life, whether they're helping us get to our goal or not. So there are some things that we've been conditioned to do that are bad, that are harmful for us, that are just straight outright unhealthy. And because we have those unhealthy conditions, we will not actually start making healthier programming until we learn how to actually rewrite those conditions that have been put on us. And so this is really important. And especially when it comes to food. Now, this works in every area of life. We're talking about relationship, money, personal development, whatever you want to do, it's the same principle. But with food, it's a little different. Because with food, everything we eat breaks down to a chemical level in our body. Meaning we don't just eat up, like let's say if you eat a piece of corn. When it breaks down in your body, it is not the same thing that you're eating. It's breaking down into different chemicals, such as you got your glucose, your sugars, your fructose. You also have things such as it breaks down into manganese, magnesium, selenium, all of these different compounds that our body need to be healthy. And so this is a really good thing, because really think about it. Like if you're saying to yourself like, oh man, I feel addicted. I'm an addict to this. That is your body telling you, hey, you're doing something wrong. Your body should never be addicted to anything that makes it healthier. Only the things that are harmful or that's not as healthy as it should be are the things that our body get addicted to. And when it comes to food, it's a little more complex, because with food, there's three things that we eat on a consistent basis that we've all been programmed from since birth. And these things can become addictive. And one of them is sugar. Sugar is one, fat is one, and the other one is actually, it's sugar, fat, and the other one is dairy. Sorry, something just flew in my eye. Okay, there we go. And so let's start out with sugar. The thing with sugar is, and here's the problem with it, eating normal sugar is not as bad. The problem is we're now living in a world where we eat all these processed sugars, these fake sugars. We're talking about there's sweeteners out there that's like 600, 700, 800 times sweeter than regular sugar. But because they're saying there's no calories, they're not taking into consideration of what it's doing to your body. Now think about this. If our body naturally processes sugar from eating fruits, from certain vegetables, or even processed sugar cubes, that is a lot different than taking something that has been chemically man-made manufactured and now is 600, 700, 800 times more sweeter than sugar. And because we're using things that are so sweet, and we're eating them on such a consistent basis, like nowadays, like even here in Colombia, in Medellin, Colombia, I see kids, they're eating like Snicker bars, their version of different candies and sweet things like that. And when you look at the labels, it's just laden with full of chemical sweeteners. And because of that, it actually creates an excitotoxin in our brain, because it's a lot more sweeter than what our bodies are used to. And because our body uses these sugars as forms of energy, our body is starting now to get addicted to it. It's becoming like, oh, I need this much sugar coming in, and it's not able to actually break it all down. And this is one of the things that also calls to not only us self-sabotaging when we go on a diet, but also it starts making us to where we're having a hard time losing weight. because we're not actually watching all the chemicals, all the different sweeteners and things that we're getting in our everyday diet. So just think about it, like if you do a regular everyday diet, you may buy soda from the vending machine at your job, maybe with a pack of chips or a candy bar. Right there, you're looking at more than 3-4 times your daily recommended value of sugar intake just from 2 items. And we're talking about just one specific time in your day. And if you actually just tracked all day how much of the processed sugars you're getting, you'll start saying like, whoa, this is a lot. And this is how I learned this for myself. Like one of the things I did, I think it was about 14 years ago, my wife and I, first thing we started doing was detoxing off of sugar. Because we didn't know this stuff, we thought sugar was bad and we was going to all these artificial sweeteners and things. And until we started actually researching, learning about it, like then we started realizing, whoa, this is a lot worse than actual sugar. I remember when I had quit drinking soda, but then I started on diet soda because I was like, oh, okay, it's no calories, all of this. But then I started having the same issues I was having when I was drinking soda. I was having a lot of back pain. I was having issues with my joints, just getting up, walking around. Like I was just having a hard time moving around. And until I stopped doing the diet soda, I started seeing that those little aches and pains started decreasing also. And so the second thing is fat. Now, fat is really important because we eat fat in all of our diet. Like, and here's the thing that they don't tell you. Like, if you eat a standard American diet, and if you're questioning, oh, I don't know if I eat a standard American diet, Jason, if you're asking that question, you eat a standard American diet. Because the only way you know you don't eat it is if you actually took in the time and took in the action to get off of a standard American diet. So the whole world in one form or another eats a standard American diet, just to let you know. And so the problem with the standard American diet is because most likely you're eating a lot of processed meats, things like that. So they're not only full of just these sugars, these sugar chemicals, but also they're full of saturated fat. And here's the thing that we're not taught. And I didn't learn this from my health teacher who was the football coach back when I was in high school. But I didn't learn that our body has 2 fuel sources. We can either burn carbohydrates or we can burn fat. Most of us have been told, oh, carbs are the devil, get away from carbs, stop eating these carbs. The problem is, the reason why you're fat is because of pizza. And they do not understand that the actual reason why we're having a hard time losing weight is because we're actually taking in a lot of fat. Think about it. If you want to lose the fat off your body, stop taking the fat in your body, and your body will probably start releasing it a lot easier. That's just one of my philosophies with it. But and here's the thing, like, if you're really worried about, if you're like, oh, well, I need the protein, stuff like that, all protein comes from plants and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are the only thing in this world that can actually photosynthesis the energy of the air, the energy of the soil mixed with the sunlight and turn it into protein. Animals do not make protein on their own. That is a myth. It is a lie. The only reason we get protein from animals is just because it's a byproduct of them eating grass. If you look at the animals you normally eat, we're talking about turkeys, chickens, cows, maybe some other forms of birds, fish, all of that. All of these animals eat their form of fruits and vegetables in their respective environment, their habitation. So cows eat grass, chickens eat a lot of grains, seeds, things like that off the ground. Fish eat a lot of seaweed. That's why they are high in omega-3, when you can just get your omega-3 from seaweed. So really start seeing that correlation, because all animals, no matter what type of meat you're eating, have saturated fat. The biggest problem with saturated fat is not only is it addictive because it's an energy source that our body can use, but also saturated fat is very highly toxic. Like if you look at most of your lifestyle illnesses, they will tell you cut back on saturated fats. And one of the things that I noticed once I started cutting back on eating saturated fats in my diet, my life started to change. I started getting things where I could walk 180 miles. I started not needing a CPAP machine anymore. I didn't know how to take blood pressure pills anymore to regulate my blood pressure. Like these are all the things that I started to gain when I started giving up these addictive foods. And now let's talk about dairy. And I save dairy for last because dairy is in its own category when it comes to addiction. I tell anybody in a minute, I am a former cheese addict. I used to eat a lot of cheese. I remember when we did our budget back living in DeSoto, Texas, man, I'm so embarrassed about it. Like we were spending like $500 a month on specialty cheeses, going to Whole Foods, these other Trader Joe's and stuff, and spending all this money on cheese because we was like, well, if we're buying the expensive cheese, it got to be healthier, not knowing all it was doing was just hurting my health each and every day. I was eating each and every day. And when I started learning, started researching, started listening to different doctor seminars, I started understanding one of the reasons most of us have this addiction to cheese is because cheese has something called casomorphine. And casomorphine is the casein in the cheese. It is one of the proteins in the cheese. And with this protein, on a chemical level, when it reacts to your body, it responds the exact same way as morphine. It is a casein morphine. Like, look at the name of it, and they just say casein, but it's actually casein morphine, and it has that addictive quality. This is why most people, when you say, like, if you're saying, "Oh man, I'm addicted to cheese," you are right. Most of us are addicted to cheese. I was a former cheese addict myself. It took me about 1.5 years to get off of it. And just to let you know how strong these addictions can be, is when I first stopped eating cheese, I went like 3 months. And this was when we were living in Panama. And after that, we had some friends come and visit, so we went to one of the resorts out there. I was feeling great, and I was like, and I said this to myself, I was like, I feel good. I'm gonna eat a little bit of the cheese pizza here. It ain't gonna hurt me. Like, I feel great now. Like, cheese shouldn't be that bad. The next day, I woke up with so much joint pain. I was so swelling up. Like, I was like, man, what happened to me? Like, this is night and day from how I felt yesterday to today. And then that next day, I just stopped eating the cheese again, and I started feeling better. Like, this is how you want to actually start doing it, because you want to start looking at your diet. Like, start seeing how you're feeling. If you're eating things and you're not feeling good, cut it out. If you have to tell yourself like, oh, I'm addicted to this, I'm addicted to that, you need to cut it out right away. You do not want to have an addiction. There's not a such thing as a healthy addiction. There's healthy habits. And the way you want to actually break these addictive habits is by creating a healthy habit. And the way you can do that is by committing to one day. Don't say like, oh, I'm gonna do this for 6 months. Oh, I'm gonna do this for a year. Do one day at a time, because first you must start believing that you can actually do it. Once you have that belief that you can do it, you know you can do it. And once you know you can do it, it's a truth. And once you have that truth, you can just start living in it. Like, this is the exact same way I became the person I am today. First, I committed to one day. One day, I'm gonna eat the healthiest I can. I'm gonna do everything I can do to just eat fruits and vegetables for one day. That one day ended up stretching out to 5 years. Now you're looking at me right now, and I'm standing in front of you. I'm no longer 550 plus pounds. I no longer take 40 plus pills a day to manage pain and other issues. I'm no longer suffering from a lot of mental health issues that I was dealing with from the Iraq War. Like, I'm able to walk without needing a cane anymore. These are just some of the things that I'm able to get back just because I committed to one day, taking it one day at a time. And so your action step for today is, what is the one thing that you're willing to commit to today? What are you willing to commit to get your health better? Like, it's all about improving your health. Don't try to be healthy, because if you've never seen it, it's going to be hard to achieve. So just try to improve and be healthier. If you go for being healthier, you will get the goals that you want. Now, if you like this type of information, make sure you hit the like button. If you know someone who can actually benefit from this, make sure you hit the share button so they can get value from it also. And if you like seeing this type of information so you can get it on the go, whether you're in the car, if you're just exercising or something, click the link up above or below, depending where it is on your screen, and you can actually go to my YouTube channel and just subscribe there. That way you can always get notified whenever I'm having some new videos up. And plus on there, you can actually get to see my shorts where I'm explaining things to you, like what can you bring to the barbecue if you want to do vegan? What are some great plant-based sources for calcium? If you're someone who's iron deficient, like there's shorts on there, like what can you do to help boost your iron naturally if you're someone who don't want to keep taking a bunch of pills or getting injections and stuff like that. So just click the link up above or below and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great Monday and stay supercharged.